How you doing, folks? Aaron Kelly here. I'm running in the Claremorris electoral area for Mayo County Council on June 7th. I just want to do a little follow-up video on the canvassing and leaflets end of things. It's obviously a huge part of campaigning, but that said, there's not an awful lot to know, to understand about it. I've made some little mistakes and kind of tweaked how I do it, but we'll do it here now for completeness because we talked about, what was it, leaflets, people, petrol, posters, and all the rest of it. So I want to just share what I have learned about it. So canvassing, traditional canvassing, you have your leaflet, you're going around, you're knocking on doors, you're speaking to the people, you're putting leaflets in letterboxes. This is generally around in your electoral area, and this is generally what canvassing is all about. So, first problem I hit, again, not knowing, I've never canvassed before, I don't know how you go about it. I thought I'll just knock on doors, I'll chat to people, well, I'll explain what I'm about, and if they agree with me, great, if not, so be it. But I found it very quickly. So I've done a couple of areas now, and they're done Claremorris, done Knock, some other to do. But the first problem, excuse me, that I came across was knocking on doors. When you knock on a door and somebody answers the door, it's 5 minutes. I mean, even if you're trying to do it quickly and get away, it's a 5 minute chat. And by the time you do 12 5 minute chats, that's an hour gone, and normally you have a window in the evenings, seemingly you don't want to be knocking on doors after 8 o'clock at night. People don't like that, and you're going to upset more people than you're actually going to gain. So 12 houses in an hour is just not feasible. You just can't do that. So I started off knocking on doors and then very quickly went, look, this isn't going to work. Maybe if you had an army of people doing the leaflets, putting them through doors, and then you could knock on some select doors, or so depending on your resources, how you go about that. But I just find knocking on doors and having a chat with everybody at the door, and there's normally just me or a couple other people, so it's just not feasible. It's not ideal, but I decided, look, a better use of our time here now is to get as many leaflets in as many doors as possible. So I started knocking on the doors. And then eventually I said, look, forget that. It's just not going to work. So I switched tactic into just trying to get as many leaflets in as many doors in my electoral area as possible. And this is kind of tactic that I've kind of settled on, purely because of the people element of this, the resources. So that's the first thing. Second thing then is actually doing this. So really what you really want to do is you want to get somebody local from that area. So I got somebody from Claremorris when I was doing Claremorris. I got somebody from Knock when I was doing Knock to show me where the estates are, where the large concentrations of houses are. Again, that's another thing. Estates, you can get more leaflets indoors. And in rural Ireland, there's a lot of houses spread out. Again, trying to hit each of them. In terms of actually getting your face out there, your name out there, I would say concentrate on the concentration of houses in housing estates and what have you. Again, on tactics on that, here's what I kind of reckon. Ideally, if you had a carload of 3 or 4 people, you have somebody local that knows what estate you're going to do. You have some sort of a plan for your 2 hour or whatever 2 hour window or whatever it is you have to do, and you kind of, okay, well, hit this estate, this estate, this estate, this estate. And again, the first one we end up, we're parking the car, we're getting out, we're going around, we're putting the doors through houses, and we're kind of walking back to the car. Or less, there's a lot of time getting wasted. So ideally, what you would want is a car with a driver and 3 runners, if you like, 3 leafleters, people that are actually putting it through the door. And basically, just the guy in the car just stays in the car, and his job is drop people off there, scoot off the other side of the state, drop people off, come back, pick up, so basically people aren't wasting time kind of, because when when you finish an estate and that, you can be another 5, even 10 minutes, so you walk away from the car by the time you're finished. So if you have somebody in the car just kind of scooping you up and dropping you off, that is very, very helpful. And we got more of that going in Knock than we did in Claremorris. I didn't video anything in Claremorris just because it was only a couple of us, and I was trying to figure this out as I went. 5 minutes, oh my god. So that's the story on it. There's other events obviously you could do with your leaflets, and I did some public speaking in Claremorris there on Saturday, and again, you need leaflets for that. Going to do some, hand out some leaflets up in Ballarrobe and what have you. So you're going to need the leaflets for other things as well, but this is purely on the canvassing side of things as well. I'll tack on a wee video now about the leaflets and costs and all the rest of it as well. And I don't have very much footage of us actually doing the canvassing at the moment, but I want to get this video out, so I'll just give you the gist, and that is the gist of what I've learned so far. Last tip then is... I don't have a leaflet to hand here, but a papery leaflet, don't have one, trying to stick those through letterboxes, with the draft excluders and all the rest, it can be a nightmare. They just crinkle up as you kind of put them in. So you're really trying to get your whole hand in with it. And the whole back of my fingers are all cut here now. I was thinking, if you had something like like a fish slice or something, you kind of slide it in there, get it in there. I'm deadly serious about this. Now, maybe a stiff envelope letter that comes through your door. But if you had something to fold around the leaflet, to shove it in the letterbox, you could do it much faster, because you can end up sticking there, tearing your hand, crinkling the leaflet. It end up just being a disaster. So that's a kind of an ultra practical top tip that that I've learned over the last couple of canvassing sessions. Something flat and rigid to jam, to fold the leaflet around and get it through that letterbox would just speed the whole thing up no end. And time is obviously a big factor when you're doing that. But that's it. That's what canvassing is. If you've got more people and more time, by all means, of course, knock on the doors. That is better if you can do that, if you have the time to do that. But I just simply don't have the resources and time to knock on every door and chat to them. Although I do like some of the uni party candidates seem to knock on the doors and go, do you need anything? Yeah, my country back. But anyway, listen, that's it in canvassing and leaflets for now. We'll show other events and other things we do, but I just want to do some sort of a video on leafleting and canvassing. My name is Aaron Kelly. I'm running for the Mayo County Council in the Claremorris electoral area on June 7th. Thank you very much. So, leaflets. We were talking about leaflets, so I got my leaflets finally. And so I got... So, yeah, it's a bit tough to see. But anyway, this is... I got 3,000 of these. I do know some people that has actually got 10 times that. I don't know if 3,000 is going to be enough. But tonight's going to be my first canvassing night. So what I'm going to do is basically do the canvas night, see what sort of a dent we put in this, then try and do a little bit of math and figure out if we're going to need more. I think we probably will. But anyway, just so we can kind of ballpark figure. So for 3,000 leaflets, I think retail you're probably looking at about 300. But if you can find yourself a friendly printer, you could get it at cost. You get it about half that if you can get a friendly printer, but that would be them doing it at cost. So finding somebody on site, a friendly. But if you can't and you're just using a regular printer, it gets much cheaper the further up you go. So if it turns out I need it more, I will. It would have been cheaper for me to just get them all together, but I just don't know how many I need. So I got 3,000 to get me going. I'll do a couple of nights. I'll do one night even of canvassing, see what sort of dent we put in it, and then decide where we go from there. But yeah, leaflets, you're going to need leaflets. You can't really do this without leaflets. You need leaflets to hand people in the street if you're doing public speaking or what have you, for your friends, to your helpers to hand out, and obviously when you're going canvassing to put through doors. And it's just the literature that you can hand somebody that they can see what you're about and decide if they want to vote for you or not. So there you go, 3,000 leaflets. You're probably talking about 300 quid or 150 or so if you can find a friendly. And we'll see how 3,000 goes. Thanks very much. We are just
I'm doing a bit of canvassing here in Knock. Let's see where the guys are. There's some helpers over there. So yeah, if you're going to do canvassing, folks, or leafleting, you really do need a couple of helpers. And here's two of the finest helpers in Knock here now. I just get on. Fair play, fair play. If we wave the camera, these are the helpers. Fair play to these lads.